Yeah. Just wanna dive in a bit.
Hey, welcome back to Aftershocks Midweek Devo. Last week we started our study on the book of James, and this week we're continuing that study. Last week we went a little crazy to James 1:1. Going even crazier this week, James 1 verses 2 through 4. There it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And that steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." What we're going to do, we're just going to break it down verse by verse here. The first thing we see is what he says in verse 2. Count it all joy. He doesn't say count it all happiness. He says count it all joy. Happiness is more of, I'm happy because this happened to me, circumstantial. Where joy, it's deeper. You can be having a hard time but still have joy. So, that's what he says. He says count it all joy. And as I thought about this, I personally thought he's crazy because he says count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials. When you're having a hard time, count it joy. Doesn't make a lot of sense to my mind. And as I thought about this, I thought about how can we respond that way? How in the world can we respond that way? And the more I thought about it, I came to John 16:33. And there it says, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." We can have joy when we have trials. Because you know what? That's not the end. He's overcome the world. And because of that, we can take heart. We can have peace. So that's just what we need to keep in mind when we do face these trials. The next thing I noticed about that, still in verse 2, is he says when you meet trials of various kinds. Not if, but when. They're going to be there. He doesn't hide it. He doesn't say, "Wow, you know me now, your life is going to be peachy." He doesn't tell us that. When you meet trials of various kinds, count it all joy. That's a hard thing to grasp, but when we do, we'll receive blessings for it. Matthew 5:12 tells us about that. Take some time to look that up. Next we come to James 1:3 here. And it says, "For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness." So, he starts out, "Count it all joy, my brothers. You meet these various trials." Why? What do these trials do for us? They produce steadfastness or perseverance or patience, endurance. A life of faithful endurance even through the trials. That's what they do for us. It's a tool that's sharpening us. It's something that's making us better. And then James 1:4, what does steadfastness lead to? "And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." Being perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Romans 8:28 says, Romans 8:28, 8:29, I'm sorry. "For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the likeness of his Son, that he may be the firstborn among many brothers." The likeness of his Son. The more trials we go through, the more we endure, the more we learn to be like Christ, the more we become like him. As I thought about this, I can't help but think about my daughter Courtney's dance recital from May of 2011. She took dance for 6-8 months, I don't know, seemed like forever. And then she has the dance recital, the big day. We get the program ahead of time. She performs in the 11 o'clock show and the 1 o'clock show. I don't remember the exact times. But she's performing in 2 shows. And in the first show, she's in the middle. And in the second show, she's the last one. So, the first show gets there. We sit there, we watch it. Watch for her part, exciting. Proud dad moment. But, that show wasn't too bad. But having seen the show already and going back for the second show, I knew what was coming. I knew who was first. I knew their routine. I knew all that. It took some very patient, very much enduring steadfastness during that to be willing to sit there and go through all that. But my question is, why did I do that? Why was I willing to do that? Because I knew who the last person on the stage was going to be. I knew it was going to be Courtney. I knew that if I endured the stuff before it, I would get to see her at the end. You know, as believers, we have the same thing. We know the outcome. We just have to persevere until we get to the outcome. So my challenge to you, count it all joy when you endure these trials. They're coming. But you know what? We do know the outcome.